CM Punk and Roman Reigns had a heated back and forth segment. Let's break it down. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Daniel. I'm a huge WWE fan, and on this channel you can find anything from reactions, breakdowns, comments, analysis, whatever it is. I'm just a guy who loves WWE. I grew up on this stuff, and I always wanted to make a channel to talk about it and make more friends that watch the product. And before we start the video, hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. Let's get into the video. We started off Monday Night Raw, Division all pissed off about the whole Elimination Chamber. This is the first Monday Night Raw off of that PLE, and if you guys didn't see it, basically Logan Paul had a strong chamber. He eliminated 3 people. Apparently, the only person to have ever done that before was Brock Lesnar. And spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet, Seth Rollins returned, curb stomped his ass, and he got eliminated. We get an interruption from Adam Pearce. He tries to stop this whole segment, and then we get, I believe, 4 masked individuals who storm the ring, one after another, to take each individual of the Vision out. Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and then left in the ring by himself was Paul Heyman. Up the ramp comes a masked man, but behind him was Seth Rollins in a mask. Seth Rollins ends up blasting Paul Heyman in the back with a steel chair and then curb stomped him, and then Paul Heyman was left all bloodied, gets carried to an ambulance, and then the Vision goes to check on him, and freaking Jimmy Uso surprise attacks the Vision. And to close off the segment, LA Knight drove off the ambulance in which Paul Heyman was in. Later on in the evening, there was a segment where like Logan Paul and Austin Theory came out and talked about what just happened, and they ended up getting Theory got a match with Jimmy Uso. We'll get into that later. Can we talk about the 3 masked men and the Seth Rollins part first real quick? Okay. I don't know where this is going to go in terms of, I feel like the move here is that we're working towards a Logan Paul and Seth Rollins WrestleMania rematch. And Paul has been a lot more seasoned in his ability, his in-ring ability, mic skills and whatnot. If this happens to be the WrestleMania program that both of them are going to be running, I wouldn't be too opposed of it, in my opinion. Just because of the storylines that are involved leading up to WrestleMania. I don't know if they can just go off of something new, or if they just want to have Austin Theory and Logan Paul go back and forth with the Usos for 7 weeks. I don't think that's going to happen either. So I really feel that we're going to be seeing a Seth Rollins and Logan Paul rematch at WrestleMania, with this ending the storyline once and for all for the Vision. And that is a big if Braun Breaker does not return in time for WrestleMania. For in-ring action, right? For all we know, he could probably return in some fashion. Cost Seth Rollins that match. I don't know. We'll see. Based on this recording, I feel like that kind of makes a little bit of sense in the direction that they're heading. Next one I want to talk about is the match between Gunther and Dragon Lee. Now, they have been going back and forth each week on Raw. It finally, I would say, paid off. I don't think we're going to be seeing any continuation of Dragon Lee specifically with Gunther. It wasn't a long match, so to say. However, I was expecting something shorter, like a total Gunther like domination type thing, but I'm glad that actually wasn't the case. I was not expecting Gunther to unmask Dragon Lee. That in itself, doing that to a luchador is very disrespectful, first of all, but I get it. You know, Gunther is like a massive heel that they're trying to build, and it makes me wonder, what is he going to do for WrestleMania? And I think I may have an idea for that. Is there any type of possibility that we see Gunther versus another luchador, maybe in a retirement match? I'm looking at you, Rey Mysterio. It's a possibility. We all know Rey's involvement in all like the LWO. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's at the twilight of his career. I don't know if he is ready to hang it up just yet, but if he is, I could potentially see this being a building block to a WrestleMania program against Rey Mysterio. Next, we had a backstage segment with Kairi and Asuka. Again, more or less the same thing that's been going on the last few weeks. Them teasing some type of tension between the two. I feel like, WWE, I know they love their long-term storytelling, but this I feel like needs to be paid off big and like soon. And I'm talking like WrestleMania soon. I don't know if this will end up on the final card of WrestleMania, but I love both Asuka and I'm a big Kairi Sane fan. However, I feel like this has been strung on for way too long and they need to do something with Kairi like as early as next week probably. But knowing WWE, it might not even happen. So AJ Lee at the end of that segment comes up, checks on Kairi, blink if you need help, and she asks her to blink if she needs help, and dude, Kairi needs all the help, bro. We need to free Kairi. Hashtag free Kairi, bro. So AJ Lee goes out there, does her thing, recaps Elimination Chamber from her IC title win. I was surprised that we did not get Becky Lynch at all in tonight's segment, and basically it seemed to be a teaser of some type of open challenges that will be happening the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. So we'll see. There is going to be a gauntlet match next week that was advertised later in the show regarding a challenger for the IC title, and that was going to be this. It's going to be Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky, Asuka, and Ivy Nile. 6 women number 1 contenders gauntlet match. Now, again, I'm surprised not to see Becky Lynch. I know they're not doing the whole like, the former champion gets an automatic rematch clause type thing, but I honestly, I feel like there's still a way she's gonna find a way to get a rematch somehow. I feel. Who do I think is going to win that gauntlet match and become number 1 contender for the women's IC title? We all talk about dream matchups of AJ Lee when she returned months back, and this is the perfect time to do this. I'm not sure if the winner is going to get the shot at WrestleMania, or like in another episode of Monday Night Raw. I don't think that was talked about. Damn, this is one I really don't know. Who I would want. You guys already know, when I first made this channel, I said one of my favorite wrestlers ever, male or female, is Io Sky. That's who I would want to win, just because she's in this matchup. Now, for me, what I was really hoping to happen was that Io Sky would follow, I guess, Rhea Ripley to SmackDown because of that whole match they had with Julia and Kiana James, and I was hoping that we would be getting some type of program between Io Sky and Julia for the United States champions, for the Women's United States Championship. At least right now, at the time of this recording, it doesn't seem we're getting any indication of that. But things can always change with the WWE, especially with 7 weeks. We have a whole month of March and half of April to build up to WrestleMania, and I do feel like it will be featured, that both of these women's titles are going to be featured on the show. We're going to go off the assumption, because the promo graphic does not say it's going to be a shot at the title at WrestleMania. We're going to go off that assumption, and based on that, I will say it will be Bayley. I'm going to go with Bayley with this one. El Grande Americano Original versus Rayo Americano. This program, I feel like it is going to be, I think, like this back and forth stuff that they've been going on, it is going to be paid off at WrestleMania. I do feel like this is a WrestleMania worthy match to be on, maybe like night 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. It's going to be in the middle of the card. I feel that they should build up to like a mask for mask match at WrestleMania. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't really have much to say on this one. In this whole like promo and match, they were talking about them being part of a fatal 4-way at on March 14th's AAA event, which I believe is going to be like a number 1 contender fatal 4-way thing for the mega championship there. I don't follow AAA that much. If you guys do and are watching this video, let me know in the comments down low. Put me on some game, because I do want to expand my tastes in professional wrestling as well. Because currently I only watch Raw and SmackDown. Sometimes I catch up with NXT, but not as much since like everyone got called up. Let me know down below. Put me on some game, because I don't want to speak on something I don't know about. So let me know in the comments. And now we go to the segment between Rusev and Obafemi. They had a backstage segment last week, and it is now they're having a face-off. Rusev calls him out, stands on the announcer's table. Obafemi comes out, does his little, strut to the ring, and then a fight breaks out. Okay, correction. It is going to be happening next week, which I'm glad, because I did not want this to be the WrestleMania program. I never saw it as the WrestleMania program, but there were people thinking it might be based on the backstage segment. But we are going to be getting that match next week for sure. It is confirmed. We are going to be seated for that match, guys. I'm telling you right now, that is going to be a match that you do not want to miss. Two powerhouses going at it, and we're gonna be seeing an Obafemi win. It's gotta be. Let's see. All right, so after all of that, it was the Jimmy Uso versus Austin Theory match. I already talked about it. Jimmy Uso won via disqualification. Jey Uso comes out to get his lick back, make the save, attacks the Vision with his crutches from an injury that he had. That was now I guess all but confirmed was from the Vision. I mean, everyone kind of already knew at this point, bro. There are speculation on where this is heading. Is this going to be the WrestleMania program, the Vision and the Usos for the tag team championship? Personally speaking, I do not want to see that at WrestleMania. It makes sense because they're currently feuding. They took him out of the Elimination Chamber. But look, I don't see that being a 7-week build-up, bro. Like, this is gonna be, if not next week, the week after maybe, there's gonna be a tag team match for the titles. I don't think they're gonna win. I think Seth Rollins is gonna cost the Vision, and then again, my prediction is that we're gonna be having a Logan Paul Seth Rollins match. Whether you guys want to see that or not, that's another story. But that's what I feel like is gonna be the thing for WrestleMania. Danhausen's Monday Night Raw debut. I am part of the group that had no idea who Danhausen was. All I knew was like rumors that he is from Chicago and he might be the one that's in the box. I said, okay. My prediction was it was going to be an advertisement. I'm glad that it wasn't, because if that debut led to one of the most comedic characters from what I presume, I am all in. I am putting all stocks into these backstage segments. This is professional wrestling comedy at its finest, bro. Like, just silly, ridiculous, like childish humor, which still can get you to this day if you're a wrestling fan, like if you're a pro wrestling fan like I am. Him and Adam Pearce, that back and forth that they had, and then you pair that with the Judgment Day, who just happens to be walking toward the ring because there was an IC title match, which we'll get into later. Danhausen curses Dominic Mysterio, and it led to this next segment. Penta versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. The moment that got announced that it was going to be a match for this week, I was very excited for it. It was the match I was looking forward to the most out of all the things that were advertised for this episode of Monday Night Raw. And I had a feeling that Penta could win this. The thing here is this. The story of Finn Balor and the whole internal conflict of the Judgment Day, that got put on display once again when he stopped JD from getting the ring bell hammer to give to Dominic in the match. That led to the finish where Penta hit the Mexican Destroyer for the win. And he finally won his first title as a WWE superstar. I just love the whole Cero Miedo thing, bro. It's so cool, and I'm very happy for him. I'm curious to see where this leads him for his WrestleMania program. But now we can talk about the Judgment Day. We're going to for sure see more conflict. We're going to see probably like a backstage segment of them like arguing over what happened because Dominic just lost the title. And I do feel like we are going to be getting a match between the two of them, Dominic and Finn, most likely at WrestleMania. Will Penta be involved? I don't think so. It's probably just going to be a match between the two of them. That's the vibe I'm getting from this whole Judgment Day situation thing. We're seeing the end of the Judgment Day as we speak, guys. This and tonight's episode was like definitely the launch of that. Last but not least, the segment to close off the entire show. Seth Rollins, oh my God. I'm sorry, it's like 11 p.m. and I barely slept. I barely had enough sleep the last 2 days. Roman Reigns finally made his return to build the match for WrestleMania. So he comes out, does his thing, does his entrance. And this was like with 20 minutes left to go of the show. So in my head, I'm going, okay, we're about to see like a 5 to 7 minute entrance of Roman Reigns. And then he's probably going to say some stuff. CM Punk will interrupt him because he said he was going to last week. And then we'll have like some back and forth. And that's pretty much what we got. But the talking point is, after the end of tonight's show, was the mic drop moment when CM Punk brings up Roman Reigns' dad and says he is going to bury Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next to his dad. First of all, if this was part of the script, which I think it is because all of WWE social media is reposting it, I think that might have been a scripted part. That might have been part of tonight's script. If that was the case, I can't believe Roman actually, approved it. But to me, it was like on the same level of Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Eddie Guerrero segment. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys know ball, all right? Like Randy Orton basically said, Eddie Guerrero's not in heaven, he is in hell. And that generated so much heat, bro. That is the same type of feel that most people, including myself, felt at the end of the show. Like it was a personal stab, like a real deep personal stab to Roman Reigns. Knowing that is where they went with this segment, I can definitely see more personal stabs and attacks on each other whenever Roman Reigns comes back. I don't know if he'll be back next week. I don't know if he'll be back the week after. I'm not sure. But when he does make his return, I can already expect personal attack. And a lot of people are saying he's probably going to bring up Larry, his dog that recently passed. And I would not be surprised. And I also think the next time that they do meet, it will be met with like a fist fight of some sort. And then security is probably going to roll them away. And then we get the end credits scene. And then they roll the end credits to close the show. What did you guys think of that segment? Do you think CM Punk went too far? Or do you think it was actually part of the script? Or did he go off the cuff with that one? As much of a personal attack it is, it definitely puts more eyes for, in my opinion, in a cheap way. Attacking someone's dead family, bro, that's never okay, like especially in real life. But if this is all work, it got us, right? It got people talking. That's all. I'll leave it at that. What did you guys think of this episode's of Monday Night Raw? In my opinion, it was definitely better than last week's. What are your predictions for this build-up of WrestleMania? Let me know down on the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Remember to be yourself, love yourself, and do what makes you happy. Peace out, guys.